Hi, my name is Nathan Iniguez, and the book I've chosen to do is Winners Never Cheat by Jon M. Huntsman. Now what this book goes into detail is regarding Jon M. Huntsman and how he began Huntsman Chemical from scratch. How he nearly went bankrupt multiple times, but how he persevered and succeeded without compromising his ideals. So basically a rags to riches story. Now in this he also describes many personal stories of where he kept true to his ideals and didn't waver even though there were multiple opportunities they could have. And also shows some of the consequences and some of the benefits of him staying true to himself. Now, I found this book to be very motivational. There were a few quotes that I'm going to get into later on in this presentation that I found to have a profound effect on me. Now the great thing about this book is it's a very quick read. This book only had 224 pages. And as I said, they were very personal stories and they were very true to himself. So the nice thing was it's very easy to translate it to yourself by reading what he experienced. And ultimately what it kind of came down to, kind of what I took away as the biggest key point from this entire book was my word is my bond, which is something he actually uses on a few anecdotes as well. Alright, and this takes us to our key messages. So the biggest one being his values and how to stand up for them, regardless of what other business practitioners' values are. You always want to stay true to your own values. And that's going to be true regardless of what the circumstances are. They may not always be ideal, they may not always be the worst, or they may be at like the best point. But you don't want to have that dictate what your values are or what your ideals are at that time. And this again applies into life, because what you choose to do for your work and what your values are in your business life also tends to play a role in your personal life. And he describes that in detail as well. And just how they are so interconnected, and one being off will often set the other one off as well. And that takes us to our applications. So the biggest one, being a dietitian student, is going to be protecting yourself and your patient, is in the organization. So although we do want to help people throughout, what we're going to need to do is make sure that we're following our guidelines, our ethics, everything that we need to help our patient, because even if we may want to take a quick shortcut to help them out a little bit sooner, it might be detrimental to them in the long run, or it might be detrimental to the hospital themselves, or you can end up being sued. Those are all very big things that we need to be wary of in our profession. Next is going to be relationships. So this is not just professional relationships, but personal relationships as well. Because if you're keeping your ideals strong, you're going to keep people that are going to be like-minded and be able to work with you a lot better than you would if you were compromising certain values here and there to appease coworkers, patients, or just lifestyle relationships. So that is one thing you do want to make sure you keep those ideals strong for as well. And then ultimately it's going to lead to posterity if you keep your values strong. And that's basically the biggest key to this book and how we should be following this as dietitians to be. Because we want to build our integrity and build our brand and show just how much we're putting into it so that other people can see it as well and see just how important it is to us and how important it is to us helping others. So that leads us to quotes and takeaways I had. So in the following pages, I'm going to have some quotes and exactly what it means to me and the profession as a whole. So the first one is, once you compromise your values by agreeing to bribes or payoffs, it is difficult ever to establish your reputation or credibility. Therefore, carefully choose your partners, be they individuals, companies, or nations. And what I kind of got from this was that when you compromise your values, even if it's just a small thing, something you don't think is very large, I mean, it could have long-term ramifications for yourself, and it can be a slippery slope. So this can lead to us making decisions whether we're going to sponsor certain companies, whether we think they're all good at the beginning and they might change if we're not paying attention to what their ideals are as well. And that's something we definitely need to pay attention to, because you don't want to be stuck representing something that you truly don't believe in. Our next one is some people earn admiration and respect. If you must choose one, however, go for respect every time. So this kind of stuck out with me according to our clinical rotation that we had to do, in which you want to help the patient, but you also want them to respect you and take what you're saying to heart and to really learn from it. So that's going to be respect every time. Make sure that we're helping them, even if we're not going to be their friends, quote. We definitely want to make sure that they're getting the right treatment, making sure that they're understanding that this is important, and we're not trying to just be their friends. If we can, that's better, but most times we're not going to be able to get both. And then the next one is play by the rules. Compete fiercely and fairly, but no cutting in line. Which rules we honor and which we ignore determine personal character. And it's character that determines how closely we will allow our value system to affect our lives. So this is again making sure our ethics are playing into the part of making sure that we are being the same both inside and outside of the professional setting. And by doing this, we are making sure that our value system is the same. We're not taking shortcuts at home, we're not taking shortcuts at the hospital either, or wherever we may be doing our profession. And by doing that, what we're going to do is we're going to be making sure our integrity is the same throughout, regardless of which place. And then the final quote is, we all owe a portion of our success to others, incurring a debt in the process, and the only way to repay that assistance is by sharing your good fortune. So I believe this is just something that we need to do as nutrition dietetics, regardless of whether we're in community, clinical, long-term, anywhere that we're doing education or helping in the healthcare process. This is going to be something that we want to make sure that we're helping other people, because ultimately we're blessed to be in this position that we're in and know the knowledge that we know, and it's kind of like our duty to make sure that we're helping others with that. So ultimately, I agree with the author and believe that we should all strive to maintain and keep our personal ethics no matter what the situation or circumstance may be. We all have the power to stay true to ourselves and our profession, even if it may seem difficult at times. And ultimately, the biggest thing I took away from this was one person can change the world, even if it's little things that